बाहर गए बिना ही रोजगार के अवसर उपलब्ध हो रहे हैं, जिससे भीलवाड़ा जिले के गांव दिन प्रतिदिन प्रगति के नए आयाम गढ़ रहे हैं। भीलवाड़ा तो बस एक उदाहरण है। देश के कई हिस्से ऐसे हैं जहां मनरेगा ने लोगों के चेहरे पर खुशी लाने का काम किया है।
What are the challenges which you've seen while this program is underway? Are there any shortcomings?
It's a big challenge, and we are being a federal country. Though we from the central government actually make the programs and lay out the guidelines, we depend on the state governments for the actual implementation. NREGA, like many rural development program, actually relies a lot on the panchayati system, and therefore to the extent that in a particular state the panchayati raj system is strong, the implementational difficulties are less. The panchayati raj capacity has to be built up, their planning capacity, their executional capacity, their technical capacity has to go up. We have to ensure that the people who work on the lands, they get their full wage. We get complaints saying that they don't always get their wage or they don't get it in time. We have to ensure that payments are made quickly and in a transparent way. And we have brought the banking system and the post office system into play. Today almost 80% of NREGA wages are paid out through the banking and the post office system. Unfortunately both these networks do not always extend to the remotest of areas. Certainly they don't extend to the poorest of areas, and therefore we have to find very innovative solutions to ensure that the payment of wages, for instance, which is so crucial to, that's the whole point of the scheme, takes place in the manner that leaves no doubt with anyone that the money is well spent.
I'm sure you must have seen some success stories as well in certain states.
Yes, I think almost all states have success stories. The very fact that over time NREGA wages have gone up, they have had a impact on other agriculture wages. Of course, there is the other side to it. People do feel that rise in agriculture wages generally has other impacts, but I think insofar that NREGA targets the poorest of the poor and their wages are going up, we see that as a very, very welcome, healthy and expected signal that NREGA is working to reduce rural poverty.
महात्मा गांधी राष्ट्रीय ग्रामीण रोजगार गारंटी अधिनियम के 6 वर्ष पूरा होने पर 2 फरवरी 2012 को नई दिल्ली के विज्ञान भवन में एक कार्यशाला का आयोजन किया गया।
इसके जरिए गरीब और वंचित वर्गों की लाखों महिलाओं और पुरुषों को रोजगार मिला है और वे अपना और अपने परिवारों का एक नया भविष्य बना रहे हैं।
15 दिन में हमारी पेमेंट हो जाती है और हमारे परिवार का गुजारा बहुत ही अच्छी तरह चलता है।
हमें 100 दिन का रोजगार मिले और हमारे बच्चों का पालन पोषण अच्छी तरह से हो जाए।
आर्थिक परेशानियों के बावजूद हम इस योजना के लिए हर साल लगभग 40,000 करोड़ रुपए की राशि आवंटित कर रहे हैं।
मैंने सन 2008-9 की 9 में जहां पर ये 150 जॉब कार्ड धारक हैं, वहां पर मात्र 36,000 रुपए का कार्य करवा पाया।
हमारे यहाँ सोशल ऑडिट के दौरान जन सुनाई में हमें सभी दस्तावेजों जैसे मास्टर रोल, कैश बुक, परचेज बिल, डिमांड रजिस्टर आदि को पढ़कर सुनाते हैं, जिस दौरान सभी को पता चल जाता है कि किसको कितना रोजगार मिला और उसके बदले में उसको कितना वेतन मिला।
एक बार जैसा मैंने कहा, इधर रिमोटेस्ट डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफ इंडिया, वहाँ पे नरेगा को अच्छी तरह से इम्प्लीमेंट किया है। ये अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ी बात है।
2010-11 में जितने काम हुए हैं उसमें से 92%, 92% काम जो है वो हमने वाटर कंजर्वेशन के लिए थे, उसका हमें काफ़ी फ़ायदा हो गया।
आप देख लीजिए सर, बस इस गांव में कुछ बिल्कुल भी कुछ काम नहीं है, कार्य अधूरा है बिल्कुल पूरा। बस
खाते खोलने से मना कर रहा है, क्यों कर रहा है इसका हमने कोई पता नहीं है।
मनरेगा में मैंने यहाँ पर 7-8 सुरक्षा दीवार करवाई है और 2-3 यहाँ पर चरियाँ बनवाई है और एस्टिमेट अभी पास हो चुके हैं, जो काम अभी होना बाकी है।
What happens out here, multi-cropping?
No, multi-cropping Basically, people who were earlier using the land for one season and then maybe migrating or finding casual labor elsewhere, because NREGA allows them to work on their own land. Therefore, they are able to use NREGA in order to grow another crop on their land. Therefore, it is improving the productivity of certain lands. It's also, as I said, brought certain degraded lands which are lying fallow because the poorest of the poor allocated land couldn't use it, is bringing that land under agriculture. So, as a result of that, we believe that the utilization of productive utilization of land for agriculture related activities is going up, and these are also manifested in the sense that we are seeing less migratory distress migration. There is a reduction in the child labor that's happening in many areas because the wages are going up, adults are going for the work. Even in construction industry, of course, the wages have gone up, and I think it's benefited those sections of the rural population who depended on this kind of work. Overall, it's certainly put more money in the hands of the poor.
Yet another program of your ministry, Mr. Kumar, the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. How is that operational? It's provide all-weather road connectivity.
Well, actually, I've been very fortunate. I've been associated with this program since 2001. It's started very well. It has picked up, and I'm happy to say that today the reputation of a PMGSY road is incredibly good. Anyone who travels in a rural area, seeing a road can tell that this is a PMGSY road or not a PMGSY road. The technical quality of the construction, the fact that drainage is provided, that the surface quality is good, that it is managed well, it maintained well, actually is a hallmark of that program.
किसी भी क्षेत्र के सर्वांगीण विकास के लिए आवश्यक है कि उसका संपर्क अपने निकटवर्ती गांवों और शहरों से हो। एक दूसरे से जुड़े होने से वहां के लोगों का न सिर्फ पठन पाठन का स्तर अच्छा होता है, साथ ही व्यापार व्यवसाय में भी लाभ होने की संभावना होती है। छोटे छोटे बसावटों को गांवों और शहरों से जोड़ने में ग्रामीण विकास मंत्रालय की प्रधानमंत्री ग्राम सड़क योजना की भूमिका महत्वपूर्ण है। 25 दिसंबर 2000 में शुरू हुई इस योजना का मुख्य उद्देश्य मैदानी क्षेत्रों में 500 या इससे अधिक आबादी वाली एवं पर्वतीय राज्यों, मरुस्थलीय क्षेत्रों, जनजातीय क्षेत्रों में 250 या इससे अधिक आबादी वाली सभी बसावटों को सड़क से जोड़ना है। ये एक केंद्र प्रायोजित योजना है जिसमें सड़कों के नवीकरण एवं देखभाल की जिम्मेदारी राज्य सरकारों की होती है। इस योजना के तहत उन जिलों में जहां सड़कें पहले से बनी हुई हैं, उनके विकास के प्रयास भी किए जाते हैं। इस योजना के कार्यान्वयन में अधिक से अधिक जिम्मेदारी और पारदर्शिता लाने के लिए एक आधुनिक वेब आधारित ऑनलाइन प्रबंधन, निगरानी और लेखा प्रणाली बनाई गई है। इस योजना से कुछ समय पहले तक उन्नयन सहित 3,32,022 किलोमीटर सड़कें बनाई जा चुकी हैं, जिससे 80,015 बसावटों को लाभ मिला है। ग्रामीण विकास मंत्रालय की सबसे सफल योजनाओं में से एक इस योजना का लक्ष्य इस साल के अंत तक 54,648 बसावटों को नया सड़क संपर्क मुहैया कराना है, जिसके लिए 1,46,185 किलोमीटर लंबी ग्रामीण सड़कें बनानी होंगी। इसके साथ साथ 1,94,130 किलोमीटर लंबी सड़कों के नवीकरण की भी परिकल्पना की गई है।
The purpose of PMGSY was to provide farm to market connectivity, because it was seen that in many parts of the country, and we did a survey and we found there are about 1,60,000 villages or habitations, we call them, they are actually sub villages, where because of poor connectivity, farm produce was not coming to the market. If it came to the market, it was coming in damaged condition, and people were actually not growing perishable commodities which commanded higher prices, because perishable commodities tend to get damaged more on a bad road. Therefore, it was restricting choice. by creating all-weather connectivity, we actually increase farm incomes enormously, both through giving more choice on what to grow and also getting a better price for the produce that is grown. Therefore, we saw, we still do see this rural connectivity as part of the anti-poverty program, because it puts more incomes in the hands of farmers, particularly small farmers, and as a result of that, people are able to meet more of their expenses, which otherwise they would have to meet by working elsewhere. It's also had the impact of making available educational and health facilities more easily, and certainly its studies have shown that it's had beneficial impacts in terms of reduced infant mortality, childbirth.
How is that?
Because there are many remote areas where people, women die because they are unable to reach a medical center in time. And because of better connectivity, they are now able to reach PHC or various other medical facilities. Similarly, education. Earlier, some of the high school or various other educational centers were too far off many of these habitations. Now, many of these are connected by bus, and certainly the access to these centers have improved as a result of rural connectivity. We have connected out of the 1,60,000 habitations, we have already connected about more than 83,000. We probably end up connecting about 1,17,000 habitations next year. Totally, we will construct more than 3 lakh kilometers under PMJSY. It's probably the largest road network construction program in the world, and I think the world over it's recognized as one of those game-changing programs.
What is the ministry's experience in some of the northeastern states, or even a place like Jammu and Kashmir? How is it functioning there?
Yes, both in the northeast and in Jammu and Kashmir, and generally in hill areas, the problems are very peculiar, and the people live a harder life. Though when one goes from here and sees that area, one tends to think of it as very idyllic, but actually people lead a much harder life in a hill area. Their ability to manage agriculture operations is limited. The roads are more difficult to build there. Transport access is more difficult. Schools are far and few in between. Unlike plain areas, very often the food grains also have to come in. So the road operates both ways. It's not only an access for production to move out to the market, but also for food grains to come in. And there are many parts of hill areas and remote areas where actually coal and fuel wood and other heating material come to remote hilly areas for the winter. So roads are, if anything, more of a lifeline in these remote areas, including of course the scheduled areas, the tribal areas, and in all these areas actually the program has been particularly well received, and we find that and we have been very liberal in allowing much higher construction costs in these areas than would normally be the case in plains areas, because getting material for the roads is more difficult, and the drainage needs are more. Unless you provide good drainage, the road will not last. Unless you provide for good retaining walls, the landslides will damage the road. But we feel that these are expenses which are essential if you have to provide all-weather connectivity for on a sustained basis. So we have been extremely liberal. We have used very high technical standards, and I think particularly in hill areas, remote areas, PMJSY has proved a great boon, and I have seen many of the remotest parts of the country, and I think this is one program where everybody wants more of it.
I would imagine people who are involved in the NREGA program would also be helping out in the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana as well?
No, not really, because the NREGA is basically for unskilled labor, and therefore a lot of it tends to be earthwork, excavation and filling. The PMJSY actually uses a lot of technical inputs. It also uses a lot of material. The metal that's used for the road is requires a lot of skilled or semi-skilled labor. Similarly, the bitumen that's used, you have to use a road roller to compact the layers.